Hitman 3 is the final game in the World of Assassination Trilogy. I didn't do a review then, so I thought by doing one now would be the next best thing. At least now I can talk about the DLCs and all the extra content, and how the trilogy holds up as a whole. I only played Hitman for the first time in lockdown. Hitman 2 was on sale on Xbox for a tenner, so I bought it because I had nothing else to play. I wasn't expecting much, but I was blown away. I put at least 100 hours into the game, just replaying levels, mastering the locations, completing challenges, doing all the mission stories, seeing how many different ways I could kill my targets. At a point, I even started speedrunning levels, which was fucking mad. A few months later, Hitman 3 came out, and I obviously bought it, because I loved Hitman 1 and 2. All the players were wondering if they would be able to port their progress over for Hitman 1 and 2, because obviously people put a load of time and money into the game, and didn't want to see it go to waste. So IO Interactive had explained that the players will be able to port their progress over from Hitman 1 and 2. This was all well and good. Then came release day. The progress porn was to be done via IO's website. However, no one could do it because I think the websites got flooded with people wanting to do it. It was nothing short of a disaster. At this point, I was a bit angry. I'd been trying for hours and hours to transfer my progress to no prevail. Not only this, but you weren't even allowed to access Hitman 1 and 2 levels. If you wanted to play them on the first day, you would have to pay for the expansion passes once again. I was worried I would never be able to use all my items and suits I'd collected. It took a day or two before the issue was sorted, but eventually it got working. So, a pretty rough launch, but once I started playing the game, my god, I was fucking loving it. Hitman 3's opening level is nothing short of perfect. When you first take control of 47, you're on top of the fictional Burj Al Ghazali in Dubai. And the view's very nice, there's some story stuff, and your target's introduced. This is probably the least story-driven mission, it's just like classic Hitman shit. You make your way inside through the means of some Spider-Man climbing and sick parkour. You get changed in a really cool way, which is IO basically teasing the upcoming 007 game that I cannot wait for. Basically, the opening segment is beautiful. The first time I looked at the mission story page, I was pleasantly surprised to find there was only 3, unlike the previous 2 games, where there could have been as many as 10 mission stories in one level. If you don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, a mission story is a guided sequence that eventually leads you to the means of killing one or more of your targets. These are good, and some of them are really unique and funny, especially in Hitman 2. The problem was there was too many of them, to the point where you thought you discovered a cool way of killing a target, to later realise it was a mission story. Hitman 3 reduces the number from 10 to 3, which is so much better. Dubai is actually quite big, but it never fails overwhelming. As you first walk up the stairs, you think your target is the one making the speech. However, if you have a good look around, you can find your target standing watching the speech from his suite about 6 floors above you. When playing this level for the first time, I was scared and excited about how I was going to make my way up there. Or if you want to, you can use a pistol and shoot the bloke right there and then. The level is packed with detail in different areas. There's an art exhibition, the aforementioned suite, the public area, there's a kitchen, a balcony, a helicopter pad, offices, security rooms, the list goes on. There's a lot to explore in this level. The second level is Dartmoor, England. It's set in a mansion owned by your target, Alexa Carlisle. Now, you know I've just been complaining about the mission stories. Well, this level has the best mission story in the Hitman franchise. It's basically a murder mystery case. You have to collect evidence from around the mansion.
Not exactly what you would expect from someone suicidal.
Then you present your finds to your target, and depending on how much evidence you've collected, you can choose from 3 possible suspects. This means she can give you the secondary objective, the case file. Once you've gotten it, it leaves Alexa Carlisle alone, so you can kill her.
But you're not here to kill me. If you were, you would have already.
Or if you want, you can totally ignore the murder mystery stuff and find another way to kill her. This level has very quickly become a fan favourite of the Hitman franchise. It is a really great level. I didn't expect it to be as big as it is, but I like to separate it into 3 sections. There's the mansion, the graveyard, and a garden. Because it's so detailed and there's so much to do, it took me to my second playthrough to realise the graveyard was even there. Once you finish the level and start heading towards the exit, you hear some crackling over the comms and realise Lucas Gray, your accomplice, and your handler Diana are in trouble.
Complete. Well done, 47.
This is where the story stuff really starts to kick in. In the following cinematic, Lucas Gray kills himself instead of surrendering to the agents that are hunting him.
Tell the Constant to start running!
Didn't really care about him, but neither did 47, so it's alright. The next level is probably the most unique in the entire series, set in Berlin. The level starts with no mission briefing or cutscene. You don't know who your targets are, and with Diana's whereabouts unknown, you're told to find Olivia. Playing this level for the first time was truly an experience like no other. It's dark, it's mysterious, and a real mix-up of the usual Hitman formula. You eventually wander down a path where you come across an IC agent that's hunting you. This introduces the game mechanic of identifying a target upon seeing them. So you kill the guy, and then you're told to kill 4 more targets in a massive exclusive nightclub. The whole level sees you trying to figure out who your targets are, and it can get quite tense at times. The game makes you feel as though you're actually being hunted. This level gives you a possible 10 targets to kill, but only 5 are needed to complete the level. They put 10 in for replayability purposes. On subsequent playthroughs, the default starting location is the nightclub entrance where 47 wears a sick bucket hat like a mega chad. This just means you don't have to start at the petrol station where you start the first time playing the level. Also, all 10 targets are marked on the map when using Instinct, and the map is absolutely huge, far too big for just 5 targets, which makes sense why they put 10 in. This level is used to really show off the impressive lighting the game has to offer with a bunch of neon lights and smoke and stuff. So once you've completed this level, you go and meet this Olivia woman. She's then your handler for the next mission in Chongqing, fucking hell, whatever it's called, that place in China. This level looks really nice with more neon lights and stuff. It's big, has a lot of verticality with the underground ICHQ, where you target Imogen Royce's. And then there's an apartment block occupied by your other target, Hesh. My only problem with the map is it feels a bit underutilised. It's quite big, but it feels like most areas are just pointless. And I feel like they could have done a lot more with the space they had. Plus, both the targets are dwellers. Here's a lady from IO Interactive explaining roamers and dwellers, because she can do a much better job at explaining it than I ever could.
Roamers and dwellers are like very broad archetypes of our targets. So if you look at Paris, for instance, you have Dahlia Margolis, who is a dweller. Like she's in her little lair. And then you have Novikov, who's like roaming around. He's like the public. He's like boasting and talking and chatting and drinking. And the reason why we would have these 2 different types of targets is because it will invite the player to approach them in different ways. Like it's 2 different play styles. If you have a dweller, you tell them to infiltrate. And if you have a roamer, you're telling them to sort of follow them around and see what they're doing.
In a standard 2-target Hitman level, there's usually 1 roamer and 1 dweller. The fact that there's 2 dwellers means the way you can kill your targets is a bit restricted. There's still plenty of ways to kill your target, but I just feel like it's a waste of a really good sized, well designed map. I especially like the underground ICHQ, which requires the player to acquire different USB sticks or keycards or something to access the different levels of this area. It is really well implemented, and I was impressed by how you have to navigate your way through the base. Just feels like some of the space is wasted, and there could have been easily another target in this level, like in the restaurant for instance. That could have been cool. Hell, it's a full apartment block with loads of apartments you can actually go in. I just think IO wasted some of the map. It is a really good level. However, it's not as good as the next map, Mendoza. Mendoza is really great. I think it might be my favourite of Hitman 3 and even the entire franchise. Firstly, it's absolutely huge. There's so much going on and a lot to take in. It's a vineyard, it's also a party, but it's also one of your target's villas. It sounds like a lot, but it all works together really, really well. The design of this level is absolutely outstanding. I never get tired of replaying this level. There's always more to unravel. There's so many things that happen and can happen throughout the course of the level. There's a meeting of all the Providence Heralds in Don Yates' wine cellar, a guided tour for your less interesting target that I forgot the name of. You can lure Don Yates out of his villa, causing a wine leak in some big barrel. You can become a lawyer, have a meeting with Matey Boy, and kill him with a pen. Awesome. One of the coolest additions to this level is Diana. Diana's been 47's handler all the way through the trilogy. It was quite surreal to get the mission briefing while she's standing next to you. Basically, she's sewn herself into the inner circle of Providence, so your targets don't suspect a thing when she's feeding you information on how to kill them. Once your targets are dead, you go and tango with her to end the mission. You think all is well, but the following cutscene shows her poisoning you. I was really gassed up for this next mission. The build up was really great, and I thought, how are they going to follow up this level? There's no way they can make another level this good. Unfortunately, I was right. This is the worst level of the whole trilogy. You wake up and there's a really nice interactive cutscene thing showing all your targets. At this point I was really excited. I enjoyed this bit. I was like, damn, it's really cinematic. However, they only did this because I think the developers realised the whole map was shit, but they'd spent so long making the level that it felt like a waste to just let it go. So you wake up as 47 again, on a bed with a load of wires stuck to his chest. He's obviously being like operated on and whatnot. You break your way out of the surgery bit and you realise you're on a train. A cool reveal, until you realise the whole mission is you working your way to the front carriage to kill your target. At one point I thought the train was leading me to the final level. I don't know how a game franchise known for being so non-linear managed to make a level so linear. It honestly felt like I was playing COD or something. I can't believe they ended such a great trilogy on such a bad note. Honestly, they could have just plopped the constant in Mendoza and that would have been fine. I would have been fine with that. So I wanted to talk about the Hitman trilogy as a whole and how it holds up. Playing the 3 games separately, the story doesn't make a lot of sense. And all that really matters is you play in a game where you kill a few people in a sandbox level. However, playing all 3 games from start to finish, it does make a lot more sense. The trilogy is barely a trilogy, it's more like one big mega game. You can tell IO planned really far in advance. I didn't like the story originally, but now, playing it as a whole, it does make a lot of sense, and I do like it. However, where the experience doesn't hold up is the continuity. Specifically in the cutscenes. The first game has some beautiful cutscenes that look like real life. The second game has these still frame cutscene things. They look nice, but there's no movement in them. It's not too bad, it works, it's nice. I just would have preferred if they looked as good as Hitman 1's cutscenes. However, I think this happened because IO got dropped by their parent company Square Enix in 2017, then picked up by Warner Brothers. Finally, in Hitman 3, they're a standalone company now. So it's fair to say that IO have had a few unstable years, so I'll let the Hitman 2 cutscenes slide. Hitman 3 was a bit better. We get motion cutscenes. Unfortunately, they look like they were made in Source Filmmaker. I wouldn't be as bothered if the Hitman 1 cutscenes hadn't looked so good. I guess Hitman 3 was made amidst a pandemic, so I guess it's a valid excuse. The point is, if the games are to be played as one, just feels a bit disjointed because of the 3 different types of cutscene. Also, fun fact, there are 3 different character models for each of the games. I do need to mention, if you play all the levels from Hitman 3, it uses Hitman 3's character model. So over the 3 games, there are 3 different 47 models. First one was hideous, I'm glad they got rid of that one. They replaced it with an experienced looking 47 in Hitman 2, this one was probably my favourite. However, they ditched that in Hitman 3 for a younger looking 47. In terms of how the series has progressed from the first game, it has had a lot of good additions and changes, though the base mechanics have stayed the same. In Hitman 2 we saw the addition of briefcases, which was probably the best addition to the Hitman franchise. Hitman 2 also saw the UI being changed because the first game had really big and intrusive UI on the screen, so IO made everything a bit more subtle. The UI didn't change much for Hitman 3, it's basically like a dark mode of the second game's UI. They didn't need to change it at all because I think it's perfect for the game. In Hitman 3 we saw a few minor additions like the camera, which is incorporated nicely and can be quite an essential tool in maps like Dartmoor. There's a new keypad feature, which is a really underutilised mechanic. There's a new shortcut mechanics too. This is a ladder or a door that can be unlocked if you find the other side of the door or the top of the ladder. This makes subsequent playthroughs a bit easier and rewards the players for replaying the levels. Firstly, there's the Season Pass. The Season Pass is basically 6 escalations. Once you've completed one level, you get the suit, weapon, and another item. All of the suits are pretty good, unlike the escalations were a bit shit. I'm not going to really talk about them, they're not good. Getting the Season Pass at the minute is basically like paying for cosmetics and a few items. The Season Pass isn't even cheap, it's like fucking 30 quid. I bought it at half price, which is probably about the right price for what you get. There was also a free Dartmoor level, where the manor is hosting a garden show. It's really nice and it changes the map quite a bit. There's a new set of targets and you get a nice suit for completing it. There's also elusive targets, which are always brilliant. It's a nice challenge to get one shot at a level, although it can be cheesy if you shut down the game. Plus, you can restart the level at any time before you've killed the target. However, the biggest content bundle is the 7 Deadly Sins DLC. When it was announced it looked pretty good, however, when it released, it pissed off quite a few players because it had to be paid for separately, even if you had the Season Pass. So those who had bought the deluxe edition of Hitman 3 or paid for the Season Pass separately like I had to pay another 20 odd quid if they wanted all 7 levels of the 7 Deadly Sins. They can be bought separately, but it's a lot more expensive that way. Making people pay might make a bit more sense if they were adding like 7 on the maps. They were adding 7 escalation content to existing maps. I'll run through all 7 escalations quickly, give you an idea of the kind of content you receive. First was greed, set into buy. You kill people, get coins, feed them to a frog, receive weapons and items. Nothing about the map has changed all that much apart from the big frog you feed coins to. You get gold tuxedo, that aforementioned coin, and a gold cane. Second was pride, setting that place in China. You kill people, but this time you get rewarded for how difficult the kill is. You get a choice of 2 weapons or tools. For example, a block of C4 and some fibre wire. If you choose the fibre wire, the peacock is proud of you. If you choose the C4, peacock is sad. You get a tux that looks like a peacock and takes a while to render in sometimes, a sniper, and a sword. Third is sloth in Dartmoor. This one is just kind of annoying, honestly. And the more you move, the more energy you use and that meter goes down. If the meter reaches 0, you die. It's a challenging level, But once you reach the final level of the escalation, it gets a bit tedious. You get a blue suit where the shirt's untucked and your tie isn't all the way up, Silence SMG, and a sedative grenade. Fourth is Lust in Berlin. This one only has one level, thank God, because it's kind of shit. You go around finding clues about some lady's secret lover. It's boring and annoying. The map changed quite a bit on the dance floor, which looked really nice. It's all red and the soothing music playing. Then you go upstairs and realise that nothing else has changed, and everyone is still programmed to dance to the techno music that isn't playing. From this escalation, you receive a nice looking red suit, a sedative grenade, and a little sedative crossbow thingy. Fifth is Gluttony, sent once again in Chongqing. This one's probably my favourite. I can't be bothered to explain every detail, but basically you get different tools to kill different types of targets. Once you've killed them with the correct tool, you get the food item. You collect all the food items, bring them to the pig, feed them to the pig, and you get a goofy looking outfit with a cape, a shotgun, and a pack of bubble gum. I'm not sure what it does. I think it's a weapon. It might be explosive or something. I'm not too sure. Next is Wrath, set once again in Dartmoor. This one's kind of wild. It's basically like a really fucked up Home Alone where you kill everyone. It's really hard because you can't pick up weapons or disguises from anyone, so weapons are only available at a certain time. For completing this escalation, you get a duster, an AK-47, and a flashbang. Finally is Envy in Mendoza. You face off against a rival assassin. You both have the same targets, and whoever kills them all first wins. You can kill them in certain ways for bonus points. For completing them, you get a green suit, another sniper, and a knife. So basically, you pay a lot of money for not a lot of content. It's a rip-off that wasn't available to season pass owners, and it could have been a lot cheaper. In terms of content still to come, IO have announced year 2 for the game. I'll link the video announcing everything. The whole Hitman Trilogy is coming to Game Pass, which is very exciting. Okay, so that just about covers everything I have to say about the game. It's a really great final entry to a great trilogy, perfect gameplay, delivers a decent story, but falls flat on the final level, which is a real shame. I know it's been out for a year, but I'm still going to rate it. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. Very good game with a few questionable decisions. If they'd cut out that last level and given the season pass owners the 7 deadly sins for free, would have been 10 out of 10 easily. Anyway, thank you very much for sticking around. I know it's been kind of long. I did not intend it to be. Thank you very much for watching. If you have enjoyed, please like and subscribe, whatever fucking YouTubers say, I don't give a shit. Ta-ra.